Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. Steph is Crypto posting this XRP about to close its highly monthly candlestick ever. Now I want to ask, when your name is Steven with a PH and you want to be called Steve, I mean it's easy when you spell it with a V, but do you spell it like this, S-T-E-P-H? Or is that Stefan? I mean, usually I'd look at that and I'd think Steph as in Stephanie or Stefan and not Steve. But if your name is Steven with a PH, I don't know if you've ever encountered this problem. Any Stevens with a PH watching the show? Put it down in the comment section. I'd love to know. Sorry, just a bit of a sidebar there. I've always wondered that. Anyway, let's get back to this, guys. Monthly close. Let's take a look at XRP. As you know, we are getting very close to the end of the month. And let's throw this on the monthly chart. Guys, this is the Bitstamp chart on the monthly, going back all the way to 2013, late 2013 here. And it is looking like we are making a new record. Last monthly record-breaking close was back in January 2025. And now, guys, it's looking like we're getting another month, cracking it again. If we close above, well, we got a lot of leeway. Right now, one XRP going for $3.23 per coin. So we had a big month in July. Who remembers the sell in May, walk away crew? Clearly that was not the case this May, but this is a great milestone, guys. XRP getting up there, and it's looking as though we may continue to see bullish prices, fear and greed, still at 67, so there's still a ways to go here. Altcoin season not budging. We are seeing a bit of green on the chart. We're not seeing the kind of inflows, though, that we're used to during the euphoria phase. That means we have not hit it yet, or it's coming in drips and drabs. So you guys can see in the last 24 hours, we have, there's some green. Some cryptocurrencies have done okay, some better than others. There are a few that are in the red within the last 24 hours, and some very close to double digits. So it's a bit of a mixed bag. The blockchain backer commenting, new all-time highs we're seeing for BNB coin and continue to march for Ethereum. Now, this is giving him glimmers of optimism that it was simply nothing more than an all-time high backtest for the total market cap. We saw the total market cap backtesting. I think I mentioned it in yesterday's video. He's taken a screen grab here. There it is, backtest of the total crypto market. But now it's looking like BNB coin. So this is another important coin. Even if you do not trade BNB coin, we're seeing BNB right now up above or almost at $850 per coin. So one BNB is going for roughly $848. We did see an all-time high, though. Here, let me throw the cursor on there. All-time high, $861.20. You guys can see the open, high, low, and close. So BNB has made some new records. Ethereum is also another cryptocurrency that we must pay attention to. And Ethereum is up here near $3,800 per coin. Went up as high as $3,943. So like the blockchain backer is saying, it is getting very, very close to the former all-time high. Well, closer than it was. It's off by about $1,000. Former all-time high for Ethereum was up near $4,800. So there you go. Altcoins are starting to move. Even XRP with another solid bounce off support, guys. A breakout above the descending trend could be very, very nice. This courtesy of Cowboy Crypto here. So we're seeing an interesting trend for XRP, a reversal pattern here with some indications in the candlesticks that XRP is reversing and that we are going to likely see another pump to the upside. By the way, I guess I should say, if you guys are interested in hearing more of my opinions with regards to this particular bull run, I think we had a pretty solid Q&A session yesterday over there at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. Check it out. I've rolled back prices. It's only $5 a month. So we're back to old school prices, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock in. It's where I'm giving my more detailed analysis on where I think the market's going to go. We're talking prices. We're talking macro picture stuff. We're talking micro picture stuff too in some cases. And you can send me DMs. You can pick my brain. Follow along if you guys are interested. Patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. As I was saying with XRP, check that out. Looks like the reversal is real with these long wicks here. On the candlesticks, we can see the negative selling pressure was fairly high, but the body is very short. So as I was saying the other day, this looks like a reversal pattern. And as you guys can see now, even on low buying volume, we're seeing a nice move to the upside. XRP, if I were to throw that on the hourly, did see a localized high right in here of about $1.33. So now we're back down to roughly $3.24 currently. So I'll throw a little price tag in there, $3.24. We were retesting this level right in here. There you guys go, 333. So, this again looking very positive for the overall picture. I got to say thank you to Cowboy Crypto. Thank you to the blockchain backer and to, Stefan. Steph, let me know. Tony Edward, guys, commenting on the tribalism and how it's heating up in the crypto market as we head closer to the top. Everyone is trying to win over retail to their coins, BTC maxis, against Ethereum, XRP, and everything. Ethereum and Solana holders going at each other. It's so funny to watch human behavior play out. So, we're going to see more of this, I think, as the market starts heating up, the tribalism, right? It's about getting retail to FOMO into your coins. At the end of the day, though, guys, it's going to be about the coins that solve problems, and we're getting closer and closer to that every single day. Cointelegraph here posting the latest stats. Only 14% of US adults own Bitcoin or other crypto per Gallup's new survey. So Americans' outlook for owning cryptocurrency, okay? Which of the following applies to you? You currently own Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency. You will probably buy Bitcoin or another cryptocurrency in the near future. You are intrigued by Bitcoin or cryptocurrency but won't be buying anytime soon, or you have no interest in ever buying Bitcoin or crypto. Well, I think if you guys are watching this channel, you probably are already in crypto. I mean, I guess there's some people that might have some thoughts about purchasing crypto and have not yet pulled the trigger. But guys, it's showing US adults only 14%. That actually seems kind of low. Not interested in ever buying, up to 60%. And then here's the breakdown for gender and age and household income too. So interesting to see that the highest income earners are currently own 19%. But they're also the highest income earners are also the highest for not being interested in purchasing cryptocurrency. So they also break it down by political beliefs. So I thought that was an interesting chart. Everything is about to go parabolic. This from Crypto Bitlord. So high, you're gonna cry. Pure shock will hit you as you wake up and check your portfolio. He says many will be admitted to the hospital. Imagine trying to breathe, but you can't. Your body shuts down from pure euphoria. You're making $50 million overnight. Well, we really do need to see the crypto market rally, rock and roll. We do need to see another significant push to the upside. And, for me, I'm looking at this rally and it's a bit of a slow and steady rally. If I'm going to be honest, there's no real mega push or mega pushes that we've seen, similar to what we saw back in, 2017 was a very good example of that. I'm sure for those of you guys that were here, you remember what this felt like. I got into this space in and around here. So I was here for the last little bit. And then this is where I really learned my lesson. This is where I accumulated quite a bit. And the rest is history. But I don't know, this feels more like a slow and steady wins the race kind of bull run. A very consistent move up for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I still do believe that we will see a euphoria phase because generally what happens, guys, is profits from Bitcoin get rolled into altcoins. So we're going to have to see if that is still going to play out. Chad Steingraber posting this. We're no longer in crypto cycles of running up massively and then dumping out. So to my point here, institutional adoption brings run-ups and consolidation, then run up again, repeat forever. And so here we are, bringing us to this theory that, guys, we could see Bitcoin just continue to go up in the days of seeing, 60, 70, 80% corrections are gone. In the last bull run, we did see Bitcoin correct 77%. Okay, that was from November of 21 to about November of 22. Before that, what did we see? We saw Bitcoin correct from up here down to here. That was 84%, okay, for Bitcoin correcting from 2017 to 2019. So, generally what we've seen are these types of corrections. But, a lot of people are saying, this is it. We're actually on the precipice of real world utility, and we're on the precipice of actually making very high highs for some of those problem solving cryptocurrencies and even for Bitcoin. And guys, again, this is why I have the Patreon. We're in a unique situation for this particular bull run. So again, for only $5 a month, you can follow me, patreon.com/workingmoneychannel, if you're interested in hearing what I'm thinking for this particular run, because it's going to change. My opinion is going to change based on if we do continue within a spec run, or if we do start to see dribblings and drabblings of real world utility, which I do believe we're kind of starting to see now. But how long is that going to take to scale? Bitcoin may no longer be the roller coaster ride it once was. So other people are noticing the same thing. This courtesy of Michael Branch. Bitcoin's ETF era may have killed the hype cycles for good. Let me read you guys some of this. Bitcoin may no longer be the roller coaster ride it once was, according to Blockware analyst Mitchell Askew. The launch of the spot Bitcoin ETFs has fundamentally reshaped the asset's behavior, replacing extreme price swings with slower, more predictable trends. Askew argues that Bitcoin's market personality has split into two, pre-ETF and post-ETF. He suggests the days of explosive bull runs and brutal crashes are fading, with Bitcoin now entering a long-term trajectory towards $1 million, marked by steady pump and consolidate cycles rather than dramatic parabolic moves. Eric Balchunas supports this view, okay? Balchunas is also saying that he's noting that lower volatility is helping Bitcoin appeal to larger institutional investors, but there's a trade-off. Those infamous God candles of vertical price spikes may be a thing of the past. So we can see the pre-institutional era and the post-institutional era. I mean, this still looks fairly consistent to me, this entire period of Bitcoin running up since 2022. If I'm going to be honest, it just seemed a little more parabolic back in the day, did it not? The shift towards ETF-driven exposure has deeper implications. With more capital flowing into custodial financial products rather than directly into Bitcoin, traditional finance is taking a firmer grip on crypto markets. This could stall capital rotation into altcoins and reduce on-chain activity, even as ETF inflows surpass $50 billion. So what is that going to mean if people are going to continue to see inflows coming into Bitcoin? Okay, and it might be that they don't want to rotate out. Is that what they're saying here? And that altcoins could flounder? Again, guys, remember, there's almost 19 million altcoins that exist. And, Brad Garlinghouse has famously gone on the record saying a lot of them are going to go to zero. 99% of these things are crap. Who else is supporting this theory? The 4-year cycle has evolved. The institutions are taking over. So Charles Hoskinson is taking it one step further, saying institutions are taking over. Guys, could this mean that the problem-solving cryptocurrencies, the altcoins that really do solve a problem, are going to be at the forefront during this cycle? Listen to this.
Here's if you think the 4-year cycle is still intact.
No, it's a different cycle. It's something different going on. And I don't even think we're close to the peak of the bull market. People have gotten so pessimistic and cynical that they're like, oh, the market's dead and we've ballooned. It's like, dude, clarity's not even passed yet. When clarity gets passed, the Mag 7 are going to enter the cryptocurrency space. You're going to have stable coins go above 1 to 2 trillion in issuance. You're going to have real world assets come in. The total market cap aggregate is going to be over 10 trillion. And so I call this the GigaChad bull run. It's like the biggest bull run we've ever had. And when Bitcoin starts stalling, then the alts will pop. And so you're going to see great ratios that, come from this whole thing. And it'll die off a little bit, but it's like every time you have these windows, you go to new all-time highs and then you stay at new all-time lows, and so it's no longer a 4-year cycle because it's not retail led anymore. It's more led by institutions and it's more led by massive investors. But simply put, there's just too much going on. The inventories on Bitcoin are too low. You got these DATs injecting gargantuan amounts of money into the market, and there's no way not to see a bull run, from all.
When do you think we hit? Wait, so what are we at today? 4 trillion, I think.
Yeah,
we're at 4 trillion. When do you think we hit 10 trillion?
Before the end of the cycle, and I think the cycle will last throughout 2026 because clarity is going to be the catalyst. I think that really bootstraps it up. And the only reason why we haven't super taken off was that there was an irrational exuberance when Trump got elected, and then it didn't immediately pay off, and so people got a little crazy about it. And then, the tariffs and all the macroeconomic stuff kind of shook the market a little bit, but people are starting to look at crypto as a counter-cyclic and as a hedge asset to the collapse of the US dollar or, to inflation or, there's such things. So we'll get where we need to go, as an industry and a market. And especially when the fourth generations come in and they bring in all the real world assets, because then suddenly you have all these yield products that come in that give 10%, 20%. Whether it be launch insurance, for rockets or, exotic microfinance plays or whatever the hell it is, they'll come in and then it'll just attract a ton of money.
So a couple of things there that didn't really jive. Charles Hoskinson did say that, so he says that this is going to be, it's going to go from 4 to 10 trillion. And he says that will be near the end of the cycle. And he says the cycle will continue into 2026, but a cycle by definition denotes that prices are going to go up and then prices are going to go down again. So is it a cycle, or is it going to be this continuous bull run that we just kind of see forever and prices just continue to go up? So that was the first thing that I noticed in what he's saying there that kind of didn't really make sense. I mean, I do believe that because we are in a real world utility reality now, prices could really start going up and go up significantly for months and months and months and months. I mean, that's definitely a possibility. But what Charles Hoskinson says there didn't quite make sense. The other thing that he said was this idea that prices could come down a bit. So is he talking about this thing of, maybe even if it isn't this mega crash that we're going to see at the end of, what the 4-year cycle used to be? Let's not forget, guys, that it wasn't that long ago, December 2024. By the way, this is the Bitcoin chart. December 2024, Bitcoin did hit a high, this was January 2025. Bitcoin did hit a high of about 109,000, and then it dropped about 30%, 32%. So, that's still a significant, very significant correction mid-cycle. Even if it's not 60 or 70%, a 30% correction is huge. Let's bring up the XRP chart just to show you guys what the equivalent was there. So January 2025 and right down to here, XRP did go down 52%. So half the price of what one XRP was going for in January. By April, it was going for half. It was going for less than half. So it gives you guys a sense, even if we aren't going to see major corrections, maybe not 70 or 80 or 90%, we still could see, this is still a very volatile market. So an interesting perspective there. Wanted to thank Michael, wanted to thank Riz, wanted to thank Chad, and Crypto Bitlord and Tony Edward for posting those. So bull market top comes somewhere in late October to early November, in my opinion. So another opinion here from Tony Edward. Here's why I think so. Global liquidity shows up in early Q4, so we got to look at the macro picture too. China and the US have agreed to extend their pause on tariffs for another 90 days, which puts us in October. This is macro headwind being delayed. Congress is set to vote on the crypto market structure bill, the Clarity Act, in September, as per David Sachs. Markup first week of September, done by end of September. This would be a huge narrative for the market and set off FOMO. So all very good reasons why we could, in fact, see that blow-off top market ending by October, November. It's a good argument for the market continuing throughout the fall. But then I guess we still don't really have any inclination that it will crash by 2026. Again, guys, this is all happening in real time, and this is why I have the Patreon, to keep my thumb on the pulse of the market and to let my subscribers know what I'm going to be doing next. So the real world utility definitely playing a larger role this cycle than it has in the past. This is another one from Chad. Right now on Aave, RLUSD is at 9.58% rewards. So we're seeing, an expansion on the XRP ledger. Paul Barron did originally post this a couple of days ago. Aave expanding to the XRP ledger. It sure is. Listen to this.
What is the likelihood of having XRP and Solana within the Aave ecosystem?
Wrapping these assets in having them on EVM, that's the kind of like a short-term, I would say, path. But I would like to see, as part of my kind of idea of having Aave everywhere, seeing Aave also down the line on Solana and in the Ripple ecosystem. And Aave already has the biggest pool for RL USD. So that has been a really significant accomplishment.
That is alone would probably supercharge what you guys are doing in terms of just exposure.
So RLUSD on the Aave network, again, just one more example of how we're going to see the real world utility really start to kick off. Banks are also looking to partner with Ripple and promote their products following the conclusion of the SEC lawsuit. So, I'm sure you guys have been following. The SEC lawsuit is pretty much all said and done. This is a clip of the FTA director, Paul Zala, and he explains in this clip how essentially the end of the lawsuit is going to mean big things for Ripple and XRP. Listen to this.
Is the one of the most recent post, which I commented on your LinkedIn, which is this payment systems that you had a session with Ripple. Tell me about it. Paul Zello, Ripple. I was like, how did these two come together?
It's a really good question. And all this blockchain stuff and all of it, I don't get it. I'll be the first to admit it. But I'm trying to understand. My 32-year-old son, who's a bit more savvy to all of this stuff, he put his hard-earned dollars in buying some shares in Ripple. And he doesn't part with his money easily. In fact, he'd rather buy these shares and pay the money he owes back mum and dad, which I wasn't really impressed about, but that's another story. But that sort of made me stand up and take a little bit of notice.
Right.
And again, I'm not an expert on it, but I understand. They approached us some time ago. But at the time, they were battling some legal battle in the US.
Yes.
And our position to them was, look, come back to us once that's sorted out, because you only get one chance at a first impression. And if this court case doesn't go well for you, it wasn't good. So anyway, they got a good result in the US court case. And they approached us again. And look, we're going to have a bit more of a look at it. I'm not going to claim to be an expert on it, but we may look to promote their product. And again, it'll be buyer beware. We'll say to our members, look, here's this new technology. From what I can understand, it can generate real-time transfer of payments. and they seem to have a lot of checks and balances in place. At the briefing that I was at where I did that post, there was a lot of representatives from the major banks that were very interested in it. So it is a real thing.
That's right.
But how that translates to meaningful solutions for our members, we'll only understand that in a bit more time.
So banks at that time, I guess I should say this was an older clip. Banks at that time were really kind of interested. They wanted to see the conclusion of the lawsuit. And now, guys, Ripple is looking to white label their technology to ultra large banks. I posted a clip of this online session just yesterday. If you guys didn't catch yesterday's video, I do suggest you watch it. I'll link it up here. First, I wanted to mention that this is Joni Z, all right? She's the managing director of North America at Ripple. She used to work for Ant Group. She also used to work for Goldman Sachs. Interesting, right? Well, here's what she has to say about Ripple technology becoming white labeled. Listen to this.
There's been a ton of news about a bit more regulatory clarity emerging in the US market. Riffing on one of the audience questions here about big banks in the US getting into the custody game, do you see them really coming online in terms of conversations? And how is Ripple approaching some of those big banks in the US specifically for custody and other products?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. I mean, here in the US, as we all know, the market was pretty much shut until earlier this year, post-election. And banks are very interested because they do know that this is the future of finance. And they do recognize that, there's a real world value in this technology. So a lot of these very ultra large banks have been thinking and waiting on the sidelines, to figure out how to offer digital asset custody solution to their customers. And this is the year that they're finally making the move. And many of them are really going out there, doing research, talking to different vendors and trying to learn and to, decide whether they want to build in-house or work with outside vendors to provide that technology. We've seen, a clear shift right now for large banks to actually partner with industry experts to provide that technology rather than building in-house. This is definitely, the pace is accelerating. I believe many of them will come out with their, custody solution soon, maybe by end of this year or early next year. And it's a very exciting time, right? Just given that US has been behind, right? Just given other markets provided regulatory clarity earlier on, and they were ahead of this market. But the tides are shifting very quickly, and I think a lot of these financial institutions based in the US are moving very quickly.
So now the race is on. The financial institutions in the United States are moving very quickly. Wanted to thank Subjective Views for that, and wanted to thank, Subjective Views for this one as well. Pompeius, guys, with Ripple's secret weapon, temporary consensus subnetworks. So this is a patent. It's a blueprint for obliterating traditional payment rails and turning XRP into the backbone of global liquidity. So what are they? Okay, temporary consensus subnetworks. Think of them as private high-speed corridors built on the XRPL's foundation. They allow instant localized consensus for massive transaction throughput while still settling back to the main ledger. So this is basically Swift on steroids without even needing Swift. Why does it matter? Because it solves the last mile problem for institutional liquidity, all right? Banks and corporations can spin up temporary subnetworks, settle billions in tokenized assets, and then bridge them seamlessly to XRP. So no slow rails and no middlemen. This is not theoretical. Ripple's patent literally outlines how XRP becomes the settlement layer for every temporary network. Every payment corridor, every RWA, every CBDC transaction could run through these micro ledgers before syncing globally. So what's the angle, guys? This is the final phase of ISO 20022, the takeover. While the world debates ETFs and Bitcoin halvings, Ripple is building the plumbing for a $100 trillion tokenized economy, and XRP is the valve that controls the flow. Here's the patent number again. It isn't just a patent, it is a financial kill switch. So this one, courtesy of Pompeius here. I gotta say, all these news updates, discovering more and more patents, understanding that Ripple is really at the forefront of making the financial world function in a better way, and understanding that XRP is going to be the backbone. XRP is going to be one of those cryptocurrencies that, if we do in fact see a major rise in price, if this is the GigaChad bull run that Charles Hoskinson claims it's going to be, well, this then would just be the beginning watching. And if you guys want to hear where I think the market's going to go, you can follow me at patreon.com/Working Money Channel. I also have the Working Money Channel merch store if you guys are interested in purchasing some Working Money Channel merch. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.